And the article is All for One and One for All, Mental Disorders in One Dimension. And here's what this is what I told Jamie, that I told you that it really brings them, you know, in movies like 007 and Mission Impossible movies, their people are always jumping from one building to another. Mm-hmm. And the good guy makes it, and sometimes the bad guy makes it, sometimes he doesn't. But when I have talked for 25 years, and I'm not the only one, but when I have tried to tell people there is one cause of mental illness, of all diagnostic diagnoses in the DSM-5 or the ICD-10, soon the ICD-11, people have looked at me like I was speaking of a Greek or some foreign language, because it was like the buildings were too far apart. Mm-hmm. They'd say, wait a minute, there's 500 diagnoses. Don't you know that? Mm-hmm. And this article brings the buildings closer together. So that that we're in the process of trying to write an article that I hope we will get well enough to get published, that will start a dialogue, not only nationally, but internationally, start a dialogue. Because here's what they see, but they said in both child and adult psychiatry, and these are two researchers, one from King's College in London, and the other from Duke University in the United States. And the article has 131 references. In both child and adult psychiatry, empirical evidence has now accrued to suggest that a single dimension is able to measure a person's liability to mental disorder, comorbidity among disorders, persistence of disorders over time, and severity of symptoms. Wow. They're saying there's one cause of all symptoms, which would then get categorized into disorders, and those are divided up between internalizing disorders, anxiety, mood, externalizing disorders, eating disorders, gambling, drugs and alcohol, and thought disorders, getting lost in delusional thinking, and okay? And then you've got the whole thing of physical disorders from chronic inflammation. So they call this factor P. And I called Tom Kelly, my friend, I think immediately or within 24 hours. And then I went to, and he got excited. And then I went to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning, and I hadn't been thinking a lot. I've learned to live more and more in a quieter mind. Mm-hmm. And what came to me, Jamie, is that this factor P that they're talking about, metaphorically, is like darkness. Mm-hmm. Darkness is not really a thing. It's the absence of light. Mm-hmm. Darkness is the absence of light. And all you need is a few photons of light for the darkness to start to dissipate. Hmm. Sid used to say, it doesn't take much. Don't think that you don't know enough to teach. Teach what you know. Point to what you see, and you'd be surprised how even a little bit can turn people's lives around.